Manchester City may be the pinnacle of world football, with some of the best players on the planet. But behind the glitz and glory lies a list of players whose careers have been ruined by Man City. Today, we'll talk about 5 players whose careers spiraled after joining Manchester City. The last player on this list, a current City player, has been advised to quit before he ruins his legacy. Let's start with the most recent casualty, Kalvin Phillips. Phillips was on the rise at Leeds United, a defensive midfield general. He attracted interest from top clubs across Europe. But in 2022, Manchester City secured his signature for £42 million. Fast forward just a year later, and Pep Guardiola has already given up on him, without even giving him a real chance. Phillips was sidelined so much that Pep preferred playing defenders like John Stones and Manuel Akanji in midfield over him. Phillips' tenure at Manchester City has been fraught with challenges, the biggest of which has stemmed from Pep's public criticisms and limited utilization of the midfielder. In December 2022, following Phillips' return from the Qatar World Cup, Guardiola openly criticized his physical condition, stating that Phillips has arrived overweight and not in the right condition to train or play. Considering Guardiola was a manager who could do no wrong with his decision making at the time, the media, pundits, and fans jumped on the story. Phillips was frustrated, as all ensuing narratives about him were fixated on his weight. He has since claimed he was not overweight, and admitted he found the criticisms hard to take. Guardiola later apologized for his comments, acknowledging that Phillips doesn't deserve the lack of game time, and expressing regret over the situation. Despite the apology, Guardiola's comments have already damaged Kalvin's confidence and reputation. When asked about this, Phillips said the comments were a big knock to my confidence. He reveals that the persistent focus on his weight has been detrimental to his career, with new clubs inquiring about his body shape, a narrative he finds frustrating. The result of his Man City ordeal? Phillips lost his England national team spot and is no longer seen as a top-tier player. His confidence is knackered, and his career trajectory has been adversely affected. Loan spells at West Ham United and Ipswich Town have been challenging, reflecting a player struggling to regain his previous form and confidence. At West Ham, Phillips made 10 appearances, but failed to make a significant impact. His time was marred by errors, including a misplaced pass that led to a goal against Bournemouth on his debut. Additionally, he faced disciplinary issues, such as a red card in the defeat to Nottingham Forest. His subsequent move to Ipswich Town was intended to provide a fresh start. However, Phillips has continued to struggle, with club insiders expressing concern about his fitness and commitment. There have been suggestions that Ipswich might consider terminating his loan prematurely due to these ongoing issues. His move to Man City, which could have been a defining moment of his career, has left him in the shadows. His underwhelming loan spells have contributed to a notable decline in Phillips' confidence and form, raising questions about his future prospects at the top level of English football. Can Kalvin Phillips get his confidence back and regain his form? Let us know in the comment section. With Joe Hart, the arrival of Guardiola changed everything. Joe Hart was once the undisputed #1 goalkeeper at Man City and England. A reliable shot stopper, he was the face of Manchester City. With his cat-like reflexes and commanding presence, he helped City to 2 Premier League titles, an FA Cup, and 2 League Cups. Between 2011 and 2015, Hart won the Premier League Golden Glove, a record equivalent 4 times, cementing his place as one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. But everything changed in 2016, when Pep Guardiola arrived at Manchester City. From the outset, Guardiola questioned Hart's ability to play with the ball at his feet, a critical component of the Spaniard's philosophy. Despite being a fan favorite and an integral part of City's success, Hart was dropped for the season's opening game. Guardiola brought in Claudio Bravo, signaling that Hart was no longer in his plans. What followed was a nightmare for Hart. Loan spells at Torino and West Ham failed to reignite his career. He eventually moved to Burnley, Spurs, and finally, Celtic. With each move, his confidence eroded, and he lost his place in the England squad along the way. From City legend to forgotten man, Joe Hart's fall from grace under Guardiola is one of the club's heartbreaking stories. Joe Hart probably watched this one play out with a smile on his face. Basically, the player brought in to replace him suffered a similar fate. Talk about Pep being ruthless. I dare say, with their success, his ruthlessness paid off. You know that guy who replaced Joe Hart, Claudio Bravo? Well, someone was about to take his place. Bravo was at the peak of his powers when he joined Manchester City in 2016. Fresh off a glittering spell at Barcelona, Bravo was widely regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. During his time at the Catalan club, he won back-to-back La Liga titles, a Champions League, and the prestigious treble in 2015. Additionally, Bravo captained Chile to 2 consecutive Copa America titles, earning plaudits for his leadership and shot-stopping ability. His ability to precisely distribute the ball was seen as a perfect fit for Pep Guardiola's possession-based philosophy. However, Bravo's move to City began a steep decline. Guardiola's insistence on playing out from the back placed immense pressure on the Chilean, and a series of high-profile mistakes eroded his confidence. Fans and pundits quickly criticized his performances, and midway through his first season, Bravo lost his starting spot to backup keeper Willy Caballero. By the summer of 2017, City signed Edison as their new number 1, effectively ending Bravo's reign. Once one of the world's most reliable goalkeepers, his time at City tarnished his reputation, turning a celebrated career into one filled with doubts and missed opportunities. Bravo's move to City, intended as the next step in his illustrious journey, became the chapter that derailed it. Samir Nasri's story is another sad one. He moved from Arsenal to City and started brightly, but inconsistency and injuries haunted his time at the Etihad. After a win against Newcastle, where he was exceptional, his coach was asked his thoughts on Nasri playing like so. "I would like to punch him, because a player like him should play like today, always," further highlighting his frustrations over his inconsistencies. Samir Nasri, obviously disappointed at his manager's comments, also aimed a dig at him by stating, Arsene Wenger was the best manager he has worked with, and would not have experienced the problems he faced that season at City if Wenger was in charge. Nasri became a target for fans after the 2012 Manchester derby, where his failure to block Van Persie's winning free kick cost City the game. Injury woes and a loan to Sevilla followed before he moved to Turkey, where a doping scandal led to a 1.5-year ban. A brief stint at West Ham couldn't revive his career, making City the last place where Nasri shined. Jack Grealish's journey from Aston Villa to Manchester City has been marked by significant challenges and a notable decline in his on-field performance. At Villa, Grealish was the backbone of the team's offensive, renowned for his creativity, direct play, and leadership. His exceptional performances earned him a £100 million move to Manchester City in 2021, making him the most expensive British transfer at the time. However, Grealish has struggled to replicate his Villa form since joining City. In the past year, he has failed to score a competitive goal for the club, with his last goal dating back to December 16th, 2023. This goal drought has coincided with limited starts and contributions, partly due to injuries and adaptation to Pep Guardiola's tactical system. Furthermore, his exclusion from the England Euros 2024 squad underscores the extent of his dip in form. Speaking on Monday Night Football, Thierry Henry highlighted a moment during Manchester City's recent loss to Manchester United that encapsulated Grealish's struggle. Henry noted that Grealish, upon receiving the ball in an attacking position, opted to pass backwards rather than taking on his defender, a decision uncharacteristic of his assertive play at Villa. Henry remarked, "That's not the Jack Grealish I saw at Villa." This conservative approach contrasts sharply with his time at Villa, where he was known for his fearless dribbling and offensive impetus. The shift suggests a player possibly constrained by tactical demands, or lacking the confidence that once defined his game. While Grealish's move to Manchester City was anticipated to elevate his career, the transition has been fraught with difficulties, leading to a dip in form and confidence. His evolution from a dynamic playmaker at Villa to a more subdued figure at City raises questions about the impact of tactical system on individual talent, and the challenges players face in adapting to new football philosophies. Troy Deeney, an ex-England international and pundit, claims Grealish may need to leave Man City to avoid having his legacy ruined. Manchester City fans have also called out Pep Guardiola's negative impact on Jack Grealish. On X, one fan noted, "He's got the medals now at Jack Grealish, but he's nowhere near the player he was at Villa. Footy fans in general loved watching the lad play. That's not so anymore. His game under Pep has become safe and boring." Other fans' reaction to Henry's analysis of Man City trooped with comments to support how Jack Grealish's playing style has changed under Pep. From Kalvin Phillips to Jack Grealish, Manchester City has mishandled these talented players. While the club may be one of the best in the world, their track record with these players leave much to be desired. But what do you think? Are these players victims of bad luck? Or is City truly to blame? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a goal story.